accountability and the implementation of self-directed support, complaints, redress and human rights principles in practice. Centre for the Study of Human Rights Law and Strathclyde Law Clinic in collaboration with In Control Scotland, October 2021. The Centre for the Study of Human Rights Law, working with Strathclyde Law School postgraduate students and student members of the Strathclyde Law Clinic, partnered with In Control Scotland to research the implementation of self-directed support. Self-directed support gives people who are eligible for social care greater choice and control over how their support is arranged and delivered. Respecting and protecting the human rights of the individual is core to the legislation, reflecting the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. The Social Care Self-Directed Support Scotland Act 2013 is potentially transformative legislation. The research was prompted by the apparent lack of legal challenges since the introduction of this Act. Why have there been so few high-profile legal challenges? The researchers wanted to find out more about how complaints were made to the local authorities, whether barriers got in the way of making a complaint, and if so, why those barriers were there. The researchers focused on the implementation of SDS in 4 local authorities in the Central Belt of Scotland. They conducted 15 interviews with staff from law centres, advocacy organisations, and advice agencies. There were 3 main research findings. Once complaints had been made, processes after that were inconsistent and unpredictable. Availability of free legal advice to help people take complaints further was limited, and there was a lack of detailed focus on human rights. As a result, barriers get in the way of making a complaint. A lot of demands are placed on people who are already dealing with challenging circumstances.
The cost implications or the difficulty of raising court action is not worth the effort when you're also already caring for someone. Law Centre staff member.
There is a lack of detailed knowledge of human rights amongst a range of people involved. Although there was some suggestion that framing complaints around human rights appeared to improve outcomes.
Human rights are often seen as big fancy ideals, rather than something people have a legal right to. There is a lack of empowerment and knowledge for people to know that they can draw on human rights. Advocacy organisation staff member.
People were fearful of making a complaint in case there was a negative impact on interaction, such as their funding being delayed or withdrawn.
A lot of service users are loath to go down the complaints procedure because they don't feel that their voices are going to be listened to. And there's also, whether it's real or imagined fear, there is a fear, a very real fear, that by going down the complaints procedure, it's going to be problematic for them in the future. Advocacy organisation staff member.
There are limited specialised solicitors and there are legal aid constraints.
They then looked into the possibility of crowdfunding, but for legal funding that has other implications for expenses for the clients, and ultimately it just wasn't possible to pursue the judicial review. Law Centre staff member.
The length of time it takes and the practice of settling complaints before legal judgments.
One of the issues is that challenges are, virtually settled on the steps of the court, and non-disclosure agreements are made part of these deals. advocacy organisation staff member.
In conclusion, pursuing legal challenge should always be the option of last resort. It is expensive and it is time-consuming. It is, however, an essential process for holding authorities to account for their duty to respect and protect individuals' rights. The research highlighted that complaints avenues can lead to better outcomes, and that formal complaint processes can create opportunities for informal and formal resolution at a number of stages. If better outcomes for individuals is the goal, then complaints processes can be an effective mechanism. However, currently, as this research shows, complaints avenues are a very precarious path to pursue. A huge thank you to the interviewees who gave their time and knowledge and participated in this research. Thank you to Dr. Sam Smith for her support and collaboration throughout the process, and to the researchers who undertook this valuable work. If you would like to find out more about this research, please contact InControl Scotland at www.in-controlscotland.org. Animation, the creative work of Iona Brownell, courtesy of Sea Change Scotland.